Hey, what's up? So just for some quick updates, I'm heading back to Pitt tomorrow by the grace of God. Hopefully that goes well. I was really happy to come back, had a great time. Really do love my room. Got some concepts of an idea for to implement to the dorm later on. It's very nice. Got to hang out with my friends today. Went ice skating. I'm a much better ice skater than I was last year. I might have a whole video where I was like messing up and falling down, but this time, funny enough, I didn't fall down once. So that was really that was awesome. But yeah, so funny enough, at the for the hangar, I got there early, like an hour early. Cause I misread the times, and I just went to a makerspace which was nearby. I started working on some research stuff. So I'm going to try and delve into that today. So essentially, for my research, where I am now is that we gather data from our first professional development session, because we're working with teachers to help them better implement AI into education especially to help Black girls. Um, so we gather data and different perspectives on different topics in that field itself. And now what we want to do is we want to build use natural language processing to try and visualize that data for the teachers to try and better understand it, to see the common themes, the common ideas that are shared amongst themselves, to probably give them some more insight and also see how these techniques can be used in their teaching. So and just to clarify, it's not all of them are teachers. More different people have different roles in the education system. So it's like to see how their these techniques can be implemented into the education system is probably better to say. So what I kind of boiled it down to is that I'm going to do some topic modeling with some clustering and classification. And just to summarize that down or dumb it down a bit, it's really that I'm going to take like all the perspectives, all their notes, because they kind of use sticky notes to share their perspectives on different topics, right? I'm going to take all of that, and then I'm basically going to be like, okay, what are the common ideas? What are the relationships amongst these ideas? And then I'm going to try and visualize that through, sorry, my memory is not the best. Do some network graphs, some word clouds, and some scatter some scatter plots for the cluster results. So when it says like cluster, imagine. Okay, I'm gonna use like the most bizarre example I can think of right now because that's the only thing I can think of. So think about superheroes, right? That's our like a main topic. Now you have some people talking about superhero movies. You have some people talk about how the Marvel Cinematic Universe is kind of getting stale, superhero fatigue, superhero movie fatigue. You have some people talk about how Superman's better than Batman. You have some people talk about Batman and how he's cool. You have some people talk about the Bat family, the Batman mythos. You have some people talk about Batman's gadgets. Now, that's all the data we have, right? Now, what this might look like in terms of topic modeling and clustering classification, we might have one cluster talk about all movie stuff. So people will talk about Batman movies, the MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe. That might be its own cluster, right? You have different clusters into that. You have different clusters inside that cluster. That so think of the spot theory, like you have different, but ignore what I said before that. Think of a bubble, right? You have different bubbles inside that bubble, right? And that's kind of clustering. And topic modeling is kind of just to extract the different topics you have. So maybe you have some stuff about Marvel, maybe you have some stuff about movies, maybe you have some stuff about Batman. Because I said a lot of Batman stuff in that example. And then for the visualization, the network graphs will really just be used to show the different relationships between stuff. So maybe when you have someone talk about the superhero fatigue, you can have someone talk about Batman and how they don't like how Batman is so overpowered in media. And you could probably maybe talk about how both of those relate to some use of fatigue in terms of how they're portrayed constantly in media or something like that. So there you can see the different connections. Word clouds, where word clouds really work is that um, Batman was said a lot, right? If Batman is like the most said word, you're going to see Batman as the biggest word in the word cloud. Then you have different words that you have the frequency of how much they were said, and that influences the side in that word cloud. So think of just like I can't even say. Think of a word cloud, or just like a bunch of words, and all of their sizes are influenced by the frequency of how much they were said in the data. So that's practically a word cloud. Scatter plots are I really don't understand them. Like just think of like it shows the different clusters, like or shows the different bubbles of relation. So you have like the bubble of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you have the bubble of movies, you have the bubble of comics, stuff like that. So how we're gonna use it, just to, since that was a long explanation, um, I recommend using some topic modeling, then as using some topic modeling to kind of classify the data into different topics, or just label it. Then from there you get clustering classification to just try and put the data into like different groups, like, oh, a lot of stuff about maybe how they can how black girls are treated, maybe some stuff about how AI is a challenge or how it's helping, different clusters, right? So because clusters and classification from what I've seen work best once you have them labeled already. And then from there, I want to try and use some network graphs to see, just to link, to show the commonalities amongst common themes, as well as word clouds, just to give an idea of what the most common word is. So like obviously like AI might be a really big word. Black girls, because that's really integral to our research, is gonna be a really big word. But maybe some words that we don't expect, like trouble or um racial bias, stuff like that. Those may be words that someone might not expect, but might also give a perspective into common themes that might be better to put our attention to. And then Scout plus for clustering results just show basically how these stuff are related and like the different groups they are in. And yeah, that's what I kind of boiled it down to. This probably doesn't make that much sense to some people, and then to people who should make sense to, like who are actually experienced in this field, it may also not make sense to them. But that's where I'm at right now with the research I'm doing. I'm excited because at first when I saw this task from my research boss, I'm just gonna start calling her that. Cause I feel like I don't know the right term, if it's like professor or lead researcher or head researcher or whatever. My research boss basically said, "Hey, you should work on this. It's really cool." And I'm working on it. At first, I thought it was really, really complex, but now as I'm working and looking more into it, it actually isn't as bad, and it is something really cool. I think the difficult part is when it comes to the building a training a model to actually be able to understand the words and how we do the topic modeling for it. I think that's going to be a difficult part because we don't want to use a third party. We kind of want to have something local. So we're not just giving the data to someone like OpenAI or Google, or I think Meta has their Llama. So stuff like that. We want to use a local thing, and which shouldn't take too long. Training might take. This is gonna be like my first time training a model, but I am excited for the challenge. I think after I am able to accomplish it, I have more experience under my belt, which is always amazing to have. But yeah, I don't know. On a personal side, it's kind of really cool just to be working on stuff like this. Like I've loved AI and all the cool stuff that's incorporated within it, even though I think it's a buzzword now. But it's really awesome to actually kind of get beginning to get more into the weeds, which is really, really cool. But yeah, is there anything else I can talk about? One of the cool stuff that I did, my research boss gave me a research paper to look into the stuff, so I kind of skimmed over that. And I used a whiteboard because whiteboards are just a great way to just kind of organize your thoughts. Another thing that I used a conversation with ChatGPT to kind of help me like talk stuff out, trying to understand some terms, but here and there, and then I'll fact check them to just make sure it's giving me the right thing. But yeah, that's kind of my process. I'm going to obviously have to do a bit more research. 'Cause I think I can. The research I have done into how I want to approach this task is more so it's more so just the tip of the iceberg, I guess. And I kind of want to go more deep into it and figure out what's the best way. And I have to like pitch why this is the best way and different approaches we can take to the task. Another thing I want is I want it to be interactive. For two reasons. One, if it's interactive, it gives you a better way to explore the to understand the data you're being presented. So like with network graphs, maybe if you could click it or zoom into certain stuff, that'd be really awesome. Another thing, if it's interactive, it kind of gives them a better idea of how they can use this in their own life and like field specifically. I think that would be really awesome because I do think all of these technologies are really beneficial. And I think I don't say it's time, but I think that's one of the ways we can better enhance the education system. I was even talking to my friend earlier today about because he's a game design major, and we're talking about like the job market for game design. Something we agreed on is in the future, um, a lot more stuff are gonna be gamified, and by gamified we mean there's this process where you kind to try and help people understand content. You kind of like gamify it. I don't know if that's a nominalization, but you kind of make it more like a game, right? So if you want people to understand what stuff you should have in your diet, or like how to eat healthily, you kind of make that a game so they can better understand it. Because psychology has kind of shown, I'm kind of just guessing here, but psychology has shown that games are a good way of teaching stuff. So you're gonna notice that a lot of the gamification of a lot of stuff, and in the future, that means technology is gonna be more incorporated into the education system and other sectors. So that's gonna be really cool to see how that actually helps certain students understand stuff. Because while teachers are amazing, they can only do so much, and it it will be in all of our favors if we can give them more tools to help reach those students who just need an extra push, as well as those students who are already doing well but they can even do even better. Um, yeah, but overall, really excited about the stuff I'm working on. Always a great time when you can meet up with friends, hang out with family, eat amazing food. I'm about to have some abacha. Um, my mom also made my mice. So I'm excited for that. And yeah, also last thing, this has nothing to do with research, but I'm hoping to bring back a pot back home to Pittsburgh, just because I haven't been able to cook any meals really. So I think if I can have a pot, that's gonna kind of change the game of how I do my routine, and just overall allow me to eat more healthily. I just allow me to eat better. But yeah, besides that though, I have nothing else to say. So have a great day.